Since the end of May, we've heard the same phrase from far-left liberal leaders, the call for defunding the police, defund the police. And there are growing concerns about what police departments and even military training could possibly look like under a possible Biden administration. Joining us now to discuss is Lon Bartel, Director of Training and Curriculum at VirTra, a leading manufacturer training simulators for law enforcement and the military. Our panelists are back as well. Lon, good to see you, and thanks for coming on. Before we get to you, I do want you to listen to these comments made by Democratic Senator of Vermont, Bernie Sanders, on defunding the police. Listen to this.
Nobody I know who's running for office talks about defunding the police. What we talk about is making police officers accountable.
But back in June, progressive members of the House, like Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, had said, quote, "When I mean defund the police, I mean defund the police," end quote. Your thoughts on this?
You know, we hear the defund rhetoric over and over again, and you know, I appreciate his statement about accountability. Law enforcement wants accountability. It's a major drive that we have. The issue of defunding means you have less training time. You have less money put into hiring and selecting the best candidates out there. So when you start talking about defunding, you're not improving performance, you're not improving outcomes, you're running the risk of setting those outcomes into a tailspin. They don't need less money, they need more time, more money, and better training.
Your training simulators, how have they changed or evolved over the past, let's say, 6 months here?
Training simulations rapidly evolving as time goes on. The stuff that VirTra's been doing is we're including entire training and curriculum pieces. So we actually provide entire lesson plans, all the training material, not just scenarios, but actually certified content that goes along with it. Because law enforcement does have less and less time available to write some of this curriculum and create it, we work with some of the industry's best to produce that, and then we give it directly to our clients so that they can use it and use our simulators to train their officers as well as their community better.
Joe and Victoria, I'll bring you in on this. Victoria, I'll start with you, and then Joe. If we were to see a Biden-Harris administration, what do you think that the police departments and the military would look like? How would things shift?
Well, I think it's a lot of psychology about their attitude toward the police. This is a game of semantics, Sean. I mean, Biden says we're going to redirect the funds, and Harris says, oh, we're going to rethink. This all means that we're losing support for the police, and you can have all the wonderful training in the world, but unless you have an atmosphere where the people support the police are still going to have problems.
Joe, your thoughts?
Well, I think there's been an abdication of responsibility by the Democratic ticket. Let's not put too fine a point on this. They were part of the defund the police. And Bernie Sanders' statement that he doesn't know anybody running for office who is in favor of defunding police is an absolute lie. You mentioned AOC. There were Abigail Spanberger, the Democratic congresswoman who barely won re-election in Virginia, was on that conference call with Speaker Pelosi, and she said, I don't ever want to hear defund the police again. I don't ever want to hear socialism again. The fact is, former Vice President Biden and Kamala Harris have made a habit of attacking the police during this campaign. Nothing that they can say now is going to change that. And the fact that they couldn't get a single endorsement from law enforcement organizations during the campaign proves that their message got through. God help them now that if they end up having to run the country, God help them have to manage the kind of idiocy that has been unleashed by Black Lives Matter and Antifa.
All right,
you have a woman just elected from Missouri who wants to defund the Pentagon.
And it continues. I'm out of time, but I appreciate Lon Bartel. Thank you so much for your time. Joe, Victoria, stick around. One more block ahead.